Come on, play. Hello, welcome to LongBox Paradox. I am Dan, your host, with Jennifer. Comics will break your heart on YouTube. Comic books will break your heart on Instagram. And we are here to talk about all things comics and a little bit of Wandavision because that was a fucking thing. Oh, you had a healthy pile too this week.
And I think this is like, okay, there's a couple things in here that I did not read. Sorry. I think out of all this, the 3 that I didn't read and then the rest.
So do you want to talk about WandaVision at the tail end or get into this now?
Let's go ahead and save it for the tail end because I think that's just going to be a lot of like rambling about WandaVision.
Also, we're going to try and avoid spoilers as much as possible, but I wanted to say at the front of the show that although that's probably where we have the least viewers is at the top of the show, but I'll probably repeat it before we start talking about it. Yeah. So we're gonna end up probably maybe spoiling something, but I'm sure if you logged onto Twitter today, you already know because there's fucking memes everywhere.
You know, it's so funny because I'm on the West Coast, so I think that for me, WandaVision ends up coming on like pretty early, like at midnight. So I could probably stay up, but I like to sleep, and I get to sleep. I'm in bed by like 9. Like I have to be in bed or else I'm miserable.
What is the sleep you speak of?
Yeah. So I'm basically going to sleep when you're like, yeah, I'm clocking in at work. So last night I'm like, okay, do I want to do it? Do I want to stay up for WandaVision? And then I'm like, okay, I've got to get to sleep. Like I'm going to be a cranky asshole tomorrow, like a crankier, assholier person than normal tomorrow. So I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and go to sleep. I woke up this morning at like 4 and of course was just like scrolling on my phone at 4 a.m. There's like hints of spoilers, like who the guest is going to be or the appearance who's going to be on WandaVision. So I'm like, I've got to watch it. So it was like the first thing that I watched this morning.
It was kind of like, it's getting like Game of Thrones, where if you don't watch it immediately, like it's going to get spoiled for you, or Walking Dead when it was popular.
Yeah.
Or more popular, I guess.
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like when the first 2 issues, I know we're talking about WandaVision now, but when the first 2 episodes of WandaVision came out, everyone was like, don't give any spoilers away. And it was like, there was nothing
to spoil.
There was nothing in the first 2 episodes, I feel like, that we got that wasn't already in the trailer.
Because I just remember finishing watching it going, what the fuck is going on? Like, I'm completely intrigued, but I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is week 4 of Future State.
Week 4, week 5?
I think it's week 4.
Yeah.
There was some good, there was some bad.
Mm-hmm.
I do have my leader in the, I don't know why the fuck they made this book that came out, I think, last week.
Which one was the one?
Fucking Legion of Superheroes was garbage.
Oh, so last week I was a bad comic book reader and I didn't read like half my pile.
I didn't either because I was prepping for that Rodney Barnes interview, which if you haven't watched was really good.
It was a really good episode, so definitely go ahead and watch that because it was a fun episode. But I ended up reading like 2 or 3 books, and the book from last week, Aquaman, was a phenomenal. It
was shockingly good. I was not expecting.
Yeah. And I was like, because I only read 1 other book, maybe I read 3, I can't remember. But I read Aquaman and I read Superman versus Imperious Lex, which was my absolute favorite. And then there was another one that I read and they were all really good. And I'm like, were the other ones really good? Did I miss out? Like, what's going on there? So, yeah, Aquaman was phenomenal, and Superman versus Imperious Lex gave me feels. It gave me feels, folks.
Brandon Thomas, who I've never read anything by, who wrote Aquaman, fucking great great book.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, this dude should be writing this. Like, I wouldn't mind like reading Jackson with although we have two different phases of Andy now, because we have this youngish Andy and then we have the older one that's in Justice League.
Yeah. One thing that I do wish that the future state titles had been doing is I think that there could have been better marketing, or there could have been a better, like, if you like this, read this. This is what's going on. Instead of this same little blurb they give in every single book at the beginning, I wish that they had been like, here's what was going on Aquaman, but here we are in future state. Like, I wish that they would have done that, because I think that that's where my issue, when it comes to the Flash, I feel like that was my issue, is that I'm like, I have no clue what's going on, but I'm not a Flash reader, so.
Yeah. So Dark Detective, I have not been liking this, like, barely at all.
That was last week. I didn't read that one last week.
Oh, was it last week? Okay, I thought it was this
so.
week.
Maybe, so here's the ones that I did read.
Maybe that was last week.
I read Superman of Metropolis this week.
Okay.
I read The Next Batman, Harley Quinn, Swamp Thing, and The Flash. Those were the 5 that I read this week, but I could have totally been missing.
Wonder Woman,
yeah. I did read Wonder Woman as well.
Okay. Okay, so let's skip ahead. Harley Quinn #2. I really like this. Stephanie Phillips, who I liked on Butcher of Paris, and then you throw in Simone DeMeo, which right away the colors, now that I look at it, I was like, why did I not notice right away that this was the We Only Find Them When They're Dead artist?
Yeah.
Because the colors just pop so damn much in this book.
They really do. Sorry.
And a nice little psychological drama, kind of, and nice little swerve at the end.
I do think that this was a fun read. This one could have been any Harley Quinn, though, because most of the other ones are like in the future, or, you know, I understand that there's like the magistrate stuff going on. But honestly, this one could be any Harley Quinn book. This could be from 5 years ago, whatever. So I thought that was pretty interesting, because all the other ones are like new characters, but this is the same lovable Harley Quinn without the Joker, which is cool.
They gave her a little bit more agency, which I like, where she's not depending on anybody. Like, there's not that weird codependency she seems to constantly fucking have. Yeah. Anytime Black Mask is in a book, I usually like it, and I kind of like the Scarecrow angle that they used in it, where he kind of reminded me of Cillian Murphy from Batman Begins a little bit. Very much the Harley Quinn, I'd say, is like probably one of my top 4 books that came out for Future State. Again, though, I like the writer, I like the artist, so that helps too. But Harley Quinn books for me are usually hard to digest.
They really are, and I feel like I know Mars has talked a lot about Suicide Squad, and I feel like Harley Quinn's attitude, I think, plays off well when she's with other people. And here, she's really just kind of by herself for the most part, which is pretty interesting. But I haven't read Suicide Squad, like, you know, pre-Future State, so I couldn't really tell you what's going on.
It's all over the place. Like, everybody loves Tom Taylor's Suicide Squad, and I get, like, he kind of changed things up, but the characters are so unlikable. Oh. I mean, they're kind of meant to be, but...
I was going to say, though, but, like, I don't know, Rick Remender could have the same thing said about him, but I fucking hate Rick Remender. I'm here to say it now.
But then again, like, the Thunderbolts King in Black story, I thought was, like...
I didn't hate Thunderbolts.
No, it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
So, like, their characters... Again, though, Taskmaster's in it, so immediately I'm like, well, I'm in.
Was it this week or was it last week? I actually ended up getting Taskmaster.
I think it was last week, because it was when you opened the... Yeah.
That I have it, like, it's up there.
Yeah.
But I have a different choice of books behind me.
Yes.
So
I see the excellence there.
Yeah, so I did put excellence up. I put a few more up there.
Which, to anybody watching, do not sleep on the excellence. If you like Harry Potter, even though this is like...
Harry Potter without the turf author.
Well... Even then, just like it would be like the what the hell's the name of their like magic police in Harry Potter? I can't remember the name of
Not oh my god. I should know this because
it's kind of like the Ministry of Magic, like a fight in between where like the head of the Ministry of Magic's son goes like
I'm gonna
rebel.
call a friend.
It's Ministry of Magic. It's Ministry of Magic.
The Ministry of Magic, but then the order of people that Mad-Eye Moody was in. What's he? An Auror. He was an Auror.
An Auror.
Auror. Thank you. Phone a friend.
So read The Excellence. It's really good. And
really
I see Naomi back there. And if you're not reading that, wait for Far Sector to come out, which we'll get to Far Sector.
I was just about to say, but we will talk about Far Sector.
Superman Metropolis.
I liked this one better than I liked the first one.
Yes, I still
maybe unpopular opinion or whatever.
I still don't love it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was better than the first one.
And this one, let me think. This one is going to be one of the 4-issue ones, right? I can't remember.
No,
this one.
No, it ends.
Yeah.
The Miracle Man story backup was not as good as the first issue one, and I don't really care about the Guardian.
But story. I do think that Mr. Miracle is now getting his own series after Future State, post Future Infinite Frontier, Infinite Future, Infinite
Frontier.
Yeah. He's getting his own series, I believe I saw today. So if you did like it, I know we're kind of dogging on it, but like if you did like it, we'll see more of it soon, which I'm excited for.
I'm like lukewarm on this book overall. Like it's probably like a 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was just kind of there. Like, but I don't have an attachment to Jonathan Kent like other people do.
Yeah.
Like he's just kind of there most of the time. And I didn't really love the Batman and Robin or Superboy Robin book. That I just didn't care.
Yeah.
Now the book I can't wait to talk about because I have a lot of things to say about it. Swamp Thing #2. That end broke my fucking heart.
Where like we see a little, I feel like they did a Groot there. Where like bit. So spoiler alert on Swamp Thing, it does hit you in the feels, and there's a little bit left of Swamp Thing. But Swamp Thing is getting his own title in Infinite Frontier, also done by Ram V. So I think that that's where like this literally planted the seed for what is about to happen. So if you couldn't just tell my spoiler there, we see a little Swamp Thing seed planted in the ground.
Also, we find out Swamp Thing's the reason why humanity basically like got wiped out. We're pretty close to it. And all his followers are actually parts of his personality, which I was not expecting. I did not expect that at all.
Yeah.
Really excellent story. Like this wrapped everything up really neatly, weirdly. And this probably is my #1 or #2 book. It's between this and Wonder Woman, of which is my of the Future State titles. This was just exceptional.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Swamp Thing, the first Swamp Thing and Wonder Woman are probably the 2 titles that I think just have reigned supreme from this whole thing. And I feel like Wonder Woman, of course, but I feel like Swamp Thing is one of the ones that people have been avoiding or they just haven't picked up. But I think it's the most easily accessible. Like, I feel like you don't need to know anything about the character's backstory. You don't need to have read decades worth of stuff to know what Swamp Thing is doing. And people have, like, I feel like people are like, what are the good titles of Future State? And I'm like, Wonder Woman and Swamp Thing. Like, those are the 2 that are the most easily accessible. And DC, I think that you need to hire me for your PR person for this stuff, because I think that DC has dropped the ball on marketing this. So not only am I here to write for you, I'm here to market for you too.
By the way, like, did you see that article about them changing the name of Black Adam?
No. Mm-mm.
Oh, like they're
I'll
changing
find it
it.
though.
It's like brand marketing. Like they're trying to now make it like a Shazam name, but like Shazadam. Yeah. And I'm just like, this is stupid. Like you've had decades of Black Adam.
Yeah.
I don't understand unless it's like for the movie, like they're just like, we need something that makes people think of Shazam. And
It's probably someone who over at like AT&T or whoever who's
yeah,
like doing it. Because I feel like anyone at DC would be like, nah, we don't need to do that.
we did some brand marketing and we think the Shaz part really is going to send it home. We went to some 5-year-olds and started asking them their thoughts. So,
Yeah.
like that Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, they
Mhm.
had a group of 14-year-olds that shouldn't even be watching an R movie as the test group for it, and they said basically the ending sucked, so they reshot the entire like movie.
You know, like I get it, but I do feel like that is how long ago was that?
Oh, it had to have been 1997.
So here's the thing is that in 97, um, I would have been 9 years old and I was probably watching way worse stuff.
Oh God.
Yeah. My first foray into the internet was rotten.com. That's how I got introduced to the internet. So just think about like those kids and where they are now.
um, so going to get into the real sour of my reading. Let's start with The Flash. They're both pretty. One's more than the other. The Flash was terrible. Like I don't want to bag on it, but like it's just not good.
The only thing that I really liked about it was right here you see Old Man Flash, and I feel like he reminds me of Colonel Weird. That was like the only thing that I'm like, I dig this.
What did you think of the Colonel Weird ending, by the way?
I thought that it was really cute. Um, I thought that you spoiler alert for Colonel Weird Cosmagog and him and Walkie Talkie like have a moment, and I thought that was like I thought it was genuinely adorable. But when I thought about the feels that the rest of it gave me, it didn't land with that. But
Left it open like there was going to be more issues.
yeah. My thing also is I personally don't like that the trade came out the
A
same
week
week or the
later,
week later and the trade cost $20. Like I would
yeah.
almost be mad that I picked up the trade because like I remember like someone asked me they're like is it worth picking up and I'm like yeah, if you can get your hands on the single issue, sure. But if not, just pick up the trade in a couple months. And then the trade, I don't know.
The
That's just
trade's
how I
more
feel.
expensive than the actual issues are.
Yeah, so now I'm like, damn.
Okay, so Flash, like already it's steeped into a bunch of shit that if you haven't been reading Flash, you're just like, oh, okay, like what the fuck is going on? Like, okay, and then it ends, and it's like we're gonna tie into Justice League. I'm like, what? Or Teen Titans. I was just like, oh,
Mhm.
what the fuck are we doing here? Like,
Once again, this is me just thinking that this book would have been a lot more enjoyable if DC had set me up for what I was about to read. But I feel like this one, you really should have been reading Dark Knight Metal. Like, so if you've been reading that series, I think that maybe you would have gotten into this one a little bit more. You would have enjoyed The Flash. But even I was kind of like dipping my toe in that, and I didn't love it. Um, so I do wish that DC had done a better like this is what's going on. Just give me a Hickman info dump and be like this is what's going on in this universe instead of that just like one paragraph blurb at the beginning.
that would have turned Mars off because you know her thoughts on the Hickman dump.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't recommend this book. I really don't. Like, I'm sure it's going to come out as part of the big ass trade with all of the Future State 2 issue titles. Like,
Is
it
that
just
what's
seems
going how is
it
that
seems like it's going to make sense to, unless they're going to put all the Wonder Woman titles into one and all the Batman titles into one.
I still think it's very confusing.
Oh,
Um,
very.
I think that no matter unless they do because like for instance, Wonder Woman, and like Wonder Woman is 2 issues, right?
Yes.
So I could imagine if they did a future state trade that was maybe $10 or $12.99 and just done one Wonder Woman, and then that's the
Like an
only
oversized issue,
yeah.
basically. By the way, I almost pulled the trigger on Amazon had Hox Pox, the hardcover, for $32.
That's like half off.
Yeah,
That's a
and it's
good
normally
deal.
60, and I was like,
That's how I got it, is I got it half off. So
I've been
worth
wanting
it.
to reread it because
It's
I haven't
good.
read it since it came out.
Mm.
And Brandon Comics King posted that he was going to reread it. I was like, like I haven't read it since it came out. Maybe it's like one big volume.
Mhm.
It'll be easier to digest.
I think so, especially with the like how it goes back and forth.
That's Hox Pox, not
That's
Future
Hox
State.
Pox.
So
Yeah, true. Well, the next one on our list is the next Batman. I didn't hate this one as much as I feel like I didn't enjoy the first one. The second issue of this made more sense to me, I guess.
There's no fun to be had.
No, it's not fun. But
No, like I'm getting no enjoyment out of it. Like everybody's just unlikable. And as someone who reads Remender, like I'm not looking for like beacons of joy, but at the same time, I'm like, this whole thing's fucking joyless. There's no passion even in the characters. Like, I got a bullet.
yeah, do the flare thing and just burn me, and I'm like, dude, at least get Batman's safe word before you start torturing him like that. Like that's what it felt like. Like there was a very intense, I mean, at least for me, I read it as very like, burn me.
Yeah.
My safe word's Martha.
Burn me with the flare. Come on.
Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like. So there was a weird, very, very weird, intense moment. Like I said, I didn't hate this one as much as I just like did not like the first issue, but
I think overall it's just been kind of eh.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the backup story by Brandon Thomas again with the Outsiders.
Yeah. I keep getting the titles mixed up. But because Katana's in it, I feel like I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, I enjoyed this a lot more than and even the Arkham Knight thing at the end I kind of enjoyed as well.
That one I didn't like. I just found myself kind of skipping through that part, but
there was a lot. Like if you hadn't been keeping up, it's again like, well, shit. Like why is this happening? What's going on with these characters? Like why do I care? But I had that history with them, so. Oh, I didn't even realize that was Paul Jenkins writing that. Huh. Shows how much I paid attention. And then what we all came for, Wonder Woman, the Jenny Friesen variant. So nice, so beautiful.
I honestly, I'm really glad that I like this title, and I'm really glad that Wonder Girl is getting her own series by Joelle Jones.
I was like, are we going with Wonder Girl on that? Like,
I'm not
like Perry.
Incredibly excited about it being called Wonder Girl, but I'm okay. I'm here for it. Like, I'm still gonna get it. So I'm really glad that she is getting it.
I think it was Perry on Instagram Stories who actually was saying that he really liked the first issue, but the second one kind of fell flat for him.
You know that the ending of this, because I'm going to go ahead and put up a little spoiler alert warning here, because Wonder Woman goes to Hades and tries to rescue one of her Amazonian sisters, and then spoiler alert, fails and is basically like crying tears that she couldn't get her, and then her horse comes up and it's like everything is all right, like a switch of a button in that last panel. So I didn't like that ending, but I thought the rest of it was beautiful.
I did like her grabbing Charon's hand and then throwing it to Cerebus.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was cute. And then
like, go fetch.
One of my favorite panels was her walking through like the fields of Nephilim, following Charon. There was some good stuff. Yeah, the end was kind of okay, not great. But overall, I enjoyed the series as a whole. Like, she's just a fun character. They did give her an emotional moment, which was nice, so that she's not like constantly like, oh, fight, fight, fight. Yeah. Again, as far as the other future state stuff, like, this has been like exceptional compared to some of the other stuff that's come out.
Yeah.
Immortal Wonder Woman I really liked as well.
I agree. But when it comes to the next Batman, here's my thing, is that I feel like the next Batman was the title everyone was really riding on. Like, everyone was really hoping for a really, really cool series. And next Batman fell flat, in my opinion. Like, this should have been the standout title, and it wasn't, but.
Okay, so the King of Hell, Hades, in mythology has always been like completely like whipped by his wife because he was in love with her and she went to hell basically for him. Well, she's kind of a prisoner, sort of.
I was gonna say in like a modern retelling, she was kidnapped, and I think some alluding to like trauma. But yeah.
Yeah, the next Batman, it was one of those things where like John Ridley, who, filmmaker, is going to be doing this Batman. And then other history of the DC universe came out and I'm like, this is fucking great. I can't wait. And then this came out, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And I can't say it's not that he doesn't have the Batman voice. It's just kind of just not interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe my palate's just changing, like that I just... oh, did you see Rodney Barnes revealed
going to Maryland, or Baltimore, right?
That spinoff. Yeah. I'm excited. It's always going to Baltimore. Okay, so that is our future state rundown. Some good, some really bad, some we just don't care about.
I did end up, sorry, my cat's over there like fucking rioting. I did end up getting the variant covers for the first week. I forget who the artist is for. I don't have any of them here, but I did I picked up some really cool stuff at my shop, or one of the shops that I go to, and I ended up picking this one up. I'm gonna take the price tag off of it really quick. But I picked up this, not the first appearance, but
no, it's
Swamp Thing, first one.
Nice.
Yeah. That was just on the top of my pile over here, so I need to give it a nice bag and board.
Dark Detective's one that I just don't love either. Like, ay. Like, I was excited. I was like, oh, Mariko Tamaki's doing this. Like, and I was like, oh, this is just kind of blah. Hades, yeah, Joelle Jones did a fantastic job with the art. She's great. Her writing's getting a bit better too.
I think her writing is, I enjoy her writing either way.
Her Catwoman stuff was a little hit and miss. At least for me. So let's get into our regular other issues.
Sorry, I just wanted to, I didn't give Swampy a bag and board. So.
Oh. You didn't join Read Across the Stars for her bag and boarding party that she did live?
I wasn't invited, but
oh no, like, she had nobody with her. She just like got on live and was just yeah.
I feel like that's something that I need to do, because I actually, from my shop, ended up picking up 200 bags and 100 boards, so I need to pick up some more boards. But I feel like the secret to me being more organized with my comics this year is just to have bags and boards ready, so then I can just when I'm done.
I did pick up the BCW the plastic storage case. I'm a fan now.
Yeah.
I got the short box. It has top locks on it, and they stack nicely.
Give me 1 second. I've got to go get my cat, so I will be right back.
Okay. So I'll do my first pick since she is gone. I picked up Chain to the Grave by IDW by Eisenbach and Brian Level with art by Kate Sharon. This was a weird ass book. It had stolen gold, magic, sorcery, a cowboy returned from the dead that has his gravestone basically tied to his body, and it's constantly chained to him.
Okay.
I was talking. I went ahead and started my pick. Chained to the Grave from IDW. Weird ass book. Oh, you picked it up as well.
I did.
I didn't hate it, but it's very confusing. Like I didn't kind of follow what was going on. The art style is very interesting.
I loved the artwork. I hated the writing. I feel like this was a great value, Pretty Deadly. Like Pretty Deadly, but not written as good. Without the emotion, maybe. Like
there was no emotion in this. Like what he shot is.
And there should have been some emotion, and there wasn't. Like I feel like it was trying to mix Ludocrats with Pretty Deadly, and it didn't work either way. I don't. I know I always say this when I trash titles. I don't want to trash a title, but I'm conflicted because I really don't want to pick up issue 2. I might pick it up because of the artwork. It was exceptional, and I loved the artwork. I loved the colors, but the writing just didn't do it for me.
So. It reminded me of a video game. A little bit, just because of how like absurd it is, and him having like the gravestone tied to him, like and using it as a weapon in certain points. I was like, oh, this is like a weird video game, kind of like the old like I can't remember the name of the game where the guy rises from the dead and he's a knight, but anyway.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. And it's just like
medieval.
Yeah.
It just kind of weirdly reminded me of that when I was reading it. I was like, this is ludicrous. Like, I might pick up issue 2 just to see like where it goes, but I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It's like a 5.
Yeah, I would say for me, it's like a 6.5, 7, which is like on the low end for me.
Your title.
I'm gonna go with this one, Gwenom versus Carnage.
I didn't read that one yet.
I really liked the first one. Like if you know you're watching, you know that I really enjoyed the first one. I'm kind of sad that this is only 3 issues, but I feel like out of all of the oh my god, sorry, my cat is like, dude. Sorry folks. But this is my life with this. Oh my fucking god, dude. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me finish this thought and then I'm gonna go get that little fucker over there.
What the fuck is going on?
So he whenever he wants crunchies, like whenever he wants food, he just like does things. So like at night he'll like scratch on some cardboard, and like right now he's like eating the trash can, and I literally just got up and fed him crunchies, and so then he immediately went back to the trash can and has been eating it. He almost knocked it down, and now he's just staring at me like he is straight up mean mugging me like, bitch, you better have more food for me.
What the
sorry, I am so sorry, but he is so distracting right now. Oh my god. This cat, like, oh my god. Okay, I'm really, really sorry. Let me back to the beginning and talk about Gwenom versus Carnage. You know that I really like this title. I'm kind of like covering my hand over, if you haven't read issue 1 on who, because it's Gwenom, who is Gwen Stacy Ghost
It's on the cover. It's not like a spoiler.
I know, but still. So anyways, I really enjoyed this title. Out of all of the King in Black tie-ins, I think this was the funnest, and made the most sense to me. So it's only 3 issues, but I'm going to read all of them. I got this sick cover too.
Oh yeah, that was one of the variants that I kind of liked.
I feel like I'm totally blanking on it. I'm really bad. My eyesight's really bad, so I can't see that signature. But there you go, folks.
I'd be remiss.
Your next pick. I know which one. As soon as you said that, I'm like, I know which one you're gonna. So let's talk about it.
Okay. So we've been very clear about our feelings on Mercy. So Deep Beyond came out, and hey, Jay, I felt it was my duty to check out what kind of shit show this might be. Now, take this review with a grain of salt. Mirka Andolfo's writing, I couldn't follow what the fuck was going on Mercy. So the bar is very low. I understood what was going on in this book. So right there, that's a plus. The art was kind of meh. Like, I didn't love it. It reminded me a lot of Oblivion Song. Not a good bar to have either.
Yeah.
But again, I could follow what was going on. So I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It exists.
I didn't like it.
That is the worst review I could give. It exists.
I feel like kind of the same. I feel like I didn't hate it, but I feel like for how much I knew that I wasn't going to enjoy it, I'm like, okay, cool. The bar is exceptionally low. I'm going to enjoy it. And it wasn't even like, okay, how about this? I feel the same way about this as I feel about New Mutants. I knew New Mutants was not going to be a good movie, so the bar was low, and I'm like, I'm still gonna watch it and enjoy it, and that was a waste. And 100%, I'm not gonna pull a Mercy. I am not gonna pick up the second issue of Deep Beyond. So if anyone needs a copy of Deep Beyond, you can dig in my trash. I'm just kidding. Recycle.
The Peach Momoko cover, at least.
Oh, I guess you're right. It is a Peach Momoko cover, so like, I'll sell it to you for $2 if you want. But that is it is all Black creators. That is correct. So if you have any questions about any of the books that you see here, let me know. Let me know, and I will. If you even would like some suggestions, hit me up on Instagram. And I will be more than happy to recommend some ish for you.
And also, our guest Friday, Rodney Barnes, has his own company coming out, Zombie Love. If you haven't checked out Philadelphia, the first trade's $10. Just get up on it. He is putting out, it's going to be OGNs from his new company, and he will have, he's bringing Blackula back.
Mm-hmm. And really quick, if you did like Philadelphia, I've got two. I still haven't picked a winner, but if you like, I don't care how you do it, just make a post on like Twitter or Instagram. I guess that's mostly it.
Or comment on the video.
Or comment on the video. I'm looking for hashtag Rodney Barnes for Swamp Thing, because I really love Rom V writing Swamp Thing, but I really think that Rodney Barnes could be writing Swamp Thing really, really good. So I want Rodney Barnes for Swamp Thing, and you could win a Philadelphia #1.
And also, Rodney's got Cloak and Dagger, King in Black coming out soon. And our other friend of the show, Steve Orlando, who undersold kind of coyly about Marvel work when we asked if he had a story, he's doing Magneto for the Heroes Reborn. So great for him. He also has Man-Thing coming out. Yeah. So he's got a lot of Marvel work coming out, and great for him that he's like having a lot of success and getting a lot of work outside of his creator-owned stuff. Your next book.
My next pick. Let's go ahead and talk about, man, there was some good stuff that came out this week, or at least there was a lot of stuff. But I'm going to talk about this one. Luna. I enjoyed it. There were some cringe moments in it, I guess. So
there
maybe
was
I
some
did.
heavy cringe. Which is a
And
Maria Lovett book, so I shouldn't be surprised.
so I totally get that, but I'm like, okay, to be honest, I was expecting way fewer cringe moments since Brian Azzarello isn't on it. Like maybe a lot of the cringe moments from Faithless weren't Brian Azzarello and it was Maria Lovett. The artwork is absolutely stunning. Like there were splash pages in here that I honestly like I could get lost in. Like there's one in particular that I could
Was it with the giant lips where it looks like a 60s concert photo poster?
Like,
yeah.
I honestly feel like I could get lost in Maria Lovett's artwork, but I feel like I didn't love this one as much as I wanted to. It was still beautiful, but in the same way, I guess maybe Mirka Andolfo, I'm just not digging the writing.
It looked like Brad Pitt from this, like if he was like
yeah
in the 70s. I don't know if that's like what she modeled it after.
Yeah. I feel like this book had way too many white people in it. Like I feel like this, I don't know, I wanted to like it so much more, but it was just so like, I don't know. I feel like I don't know the story that it told. It kind of went fast. The artwork's beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and maybe give it a 6.5.
That's fair.
I also picked up the, I guess if you could call this a variant cover. I just feel like
I got the Jenny Friesen.
I missed out on that one, but I feel like I just want to take some Sharpies to this one and do my own cover.
There is a book I'm shocked that like I picked up just on a whim. And it's from Aftershock by Elliot Kalin and Andrea Moody, Maniac of New York.
Yep.
I fucking love this book.
Honestly, like I'm gonna be real with you. I feel like this was my favorite book of the week. And I wanted to hate this book so much. Like I'm like, okay, there's gonna be some like weird serial killer or something, and it's just gonna be this is gonna be cringy, and it wasn't. So
no, I was actually shocked because I was like, the cover, I was like, this looks fucking cheesy, but I'm like, I'm gonna check it out. Like I saw Bearded Comic Bro post something about it. I was like, all right, like, oh no, it wasn't Bearded Comic Bro. It was No Good Comics.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, like I'll check it out, and I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. Like maybe it's because I had no expectations of it that it took me by surprise. But this was a great like serial killer book. Like, but he's basically the background. He's barely in the book.
I felt like I'm glad that you liked it because I feel like it gave me
Seven vibes.
It gave not Seven, not for me, but it gave me Greg Rucka. Gotham Academy vibes. Is that what I'm or Gotham Central?
Gotham Central, yeah.
It gave me Gotham Central vibes.
And the killer kind of looked like what Jay just said, Bedlam.
And yes, Nailbiter. So I got like it was like Nailbiter meets Gotham Central. Like that was the kind of
the killer looks like the character from Bedlam. That's the one thing, which was a weird Nick Spencer book. I mean, Nick Spencer's written a lot of weird books, but I'm like an 8.5 on this. Like, I really, really enjoyed this. Like, way more than I thought. Aftershock lately putting out like better books. Like I've picked up more Aftershock books than I have in like the last 5 years.
I think that, to be completely honest, I feel like I have been digging Aftershock books more consistently than Image books. Like I hated Deep Beyond. I hated Mercy. There's so many other Image books that I feel like would totally be in my wheelhouse and I haven't liked, and Aftershock's actually been doing it. So is Aftershocks the new Image? Like I feel like if there was like a clickbait title, that would be it. Is Image dying?
It might be the new Boom, because Boom all of a sudden kept putting out books where I'm like, wait, this is actually good. Like, I mean, outside of Lumberjanes. Yeah, Jay, like
Lumberjanes was great.
No, I said outside of Lumberjanes. That was like the one Boom book and like the Clive Barker stuff I was picking up.
Got it. I thought you were saying that like that wasn't a good title, and I'm like, Lumberjanes is amazing.
But yeah, Jay, I recommend picking this book up. Like it was shockingly good. Like
After Shocking.
After Shocking Good. And if you're looking for, it's not for everybody, but Kill a Man by Steve Orlando and Phil Kenny Johnson. It's a rough book to read, but like it's good.
Yes. I've started it and I haven't finished it, but
Did you read Pulp?
I haven't, no.
Your next pick.
I feel like I've been reading so many single issues. Like, I'm really proud of myself because this Wednesday I read like 15 of my books. So
I did a lot of it yesterday, like before I went into work, and like I went into work and my eyes were like yeah, your next book.
man, I feel like okay. I'm gonna go with this one from Mad Cave. They Fell from the Sky.
I didn't pick that one up.
It was decent. I feel like Mad Cave has been doing a lot of really good things. I don't know if this is their like second or third wave of what they're doing, but I don't think I picked up anything from their first wave, but the second wave where we got Stargazer, Dryfoot, Villainous, Terminal Punks. Terminal Punks is another one of my favorites from Mad Cave. But They Fell from the Sky. It was really, really good. So you can kind of see here the premise is that I don't know if you can really pick it out, but there's like a kid in a robot suit. Or in a robot suit, alien suit, whatever. And I feel like this is more about the kids in the story and the kids being like nerds and getting picked on, more so than this. So this was really cute. I feel like it's one of those titles that is maybe meant for kids, but adults are going to like it too. So I could see John's comics with kids. I don't know if he's watching or if he watches on the replay.
He'll watch the replay. He's at work.
So I don't know, John, if you're watching and you haven't picked up They Fell from the Sky, I feel like he would really like this, and I think that his girls would like it too. So maybe I'll see on Saturday. So tomorrow morning, I'll get to watch your show, John's Comics with Kids, Saturday morning, bagels. That's my
Except for the one time I watched, they had no bagels.
They had no bagels. Oh my goodness, there was one Saturday. I think it was Charlie was like, I'm going to wait for Jennifer to be in the chat before I start eating my bagel. And of course, that was the one morning where I woke up late and she's like, oh, Jennifer's here. I can finally start eating my bagel. And I'm like, I'm starving this poor child by not watching their show. So anyways.
The power you have.
I know. And now I'm like, okay, I don't have bagels. I need to go out tonight and get bagels before tomorrow so I can have bagels so I can eat a bagel while I'm watching them eat a bagel.
So
it's
Publix start carrying Einstein bagels.
Oh, I'm not by Publix anymore. But I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But anyways, I won't go into that too much. But anyways, like Kroger is shit, and that's where I get all of my stuff from. But anyways, I get jalapeno bagels now, and those are really zesty.
I get everything.
So anyways, They Fell from the Sky, which has nothing to do with bagels, but we're gonna sit here and talk about bagels.
Well, wait till the next issue. There's gonna be a cosmic bagel.
Ooh, yeah. They do have those like rainbow bagels in New York or something with like the rainbow dough, but so anyways, this is a really cute title. I think that if you liked titles like Wind, and I forget some of the other ones, but I think that this one is a really good read. Maybe this one and Maniac from New York were my two favorites for the week.
I'm going to get up on my pulpit now. Far Sector number 10 came out. There's 2 issues left. I still don't understand how people are sleeping on this book. Like,
I think the reason why is because it's not marketed as a Green Lantern book. And I feel like that's almost a good thing, because if it was marketed as a Green Lantern book, I probably wouldn't have really picked it up.
Jamal Campbell's art continues to just like, why he's not talked about more shocks me.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's one of like the great upcoming artists. N.K. Jemison's story sometimes gets a little muddy at times in certain stories where it's so dense in dialogue that you're just like, okay, like let's get to the point. but overall, like, the story's been very good. This issue in particular had a lot of intrigue to it and political dynamics, which I very much enjoyed.
Yeah.
Again, 2 more issues to clean everything up and see where Joe ends up after this, if they do anything with her, which will be disappointing if they don't, but it's DC, so
maybe I don't know. I really do hope that we get a consistent Far Sector title. I do think that I can't off the top of my head think of anyone other than N.K. Jemisin that I would ever like to read it. And I do think that if anyone else took it over, it does need to be by creators of color 100%. And I really can't pick out who that needs to be, or it should be, whatever. But I am not necessarily that I'm excited for this title to end, but I do think that once this gets that 12 issue, because it's 12 issues, and once we do get the trade or the hardcover, I'm going to promote the shit out of that book. People buying the hardcover, maybe that's why people haven't picked it up, is because you just can't get the single issues and it's not collected yet. So once it's collected, I'm just going to promote the collected issue because it's more people need to be reading this.
So, Jay, I actually have an answer to this. Yes, DC did promote Black Lead created books, and that was a 91-92 milestone. And that was the last time they ever really promoted it, because if you ever watched the Dwayne McDuffie documentary that was on Justice League Doom, and the also milestone documentary mini doc that they did for Robert Kirkman's History of Comics.
It was like episode 3 or 4, I think.
Yes. Dwayne McDuffie was very outspoken, and he pissed a lot of editors off.
And he ended up putting things, he pushed the boundaries on a lot of things.
Yes, there was the sex issue with the characters. I think it was in Static. Mm-hmm. Maybe. And then, if I recall, Rocket from Icon was one of the first gay characters they had.
Yeah.
Because I remember that was a huge fucking deal. But Dwayne literally took no shit from anyone, and sometimes to the chagrin of his co-workers over there, who were like, hey, you're causing enough ripples that might get us shut down. And then DC stopped promoting it. And so watch those 2 documentaries though, if you're at all curious, because I believe it was not Karen Berger, Diane Nelson at the time, who really pushed for that, where they're like, hey, we want to create this. She's like, great, do it.
Yeah.
And Paul Levitz kind of did it because he was told to. But they're 2 interesting docs. I'm not going to lie, the Dwayne McDuffie documentary that was on the Justice League Doom one made me cry when they were talking to his wife after he died. It broke my heart. But some of the characters still, Static Shock after the fact has had a very, very long life.
And I think that Static Shock is getting his own show.
I think so. There was something talked about that.
Yeah. So I think that I don't know if they're necessarily bringing back Milestone, but I do think that there's been a revival of bringing some of those characters back. So even though it's 20 years too late, we're getting it.
It's the weird thing of I just don't think it was the right time to do it, but it still was very, very influential that when they did it. But I think had it happened in, right before 2000 or in that area, it might have been accepted more.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't spec market. I think there was a more diverse audience waiting for those books instead of the curmudgeonly, what's not my heroes. I could go for hours about that, but Far Sector it's a great book. If you're not picking it up, they have to put out a big trade. Last God's another one where they haven't put out a trade yet, but it ends at issue 12.
And, not necessarily to like compare Last God and Far Sector, but I feel like that was one where I couldn't pick up issues 1 and 2. So then I'm like, well, I'm not going to start at issue 3 or 4. And it was one of those that started like right after the pandemic and shops were closing down and like publishing schedules and things like that. So I think that also contributed to it, because quite honestly, if this title hadn't come out during that time, I think that issue 1 and 2 would have consistently got 2nd, 3rd, 4th printings.
Yeah. What is your next book?
I think that was 3 for me, but I'll go ahead and talk about some of the other ones that I got. We didn't talk about this one. This is going to be a really tough title to see, so let me see if because I got both covers. But that's going to be Fear Case.
I didn't get it. I couldn't get it.
So Fear Case, there's 2 titles. It was really interesting. Basically, the premise is that there is this briefcase, and you either have to give it to like the person that you love the most, but then it has something really cruel inside of it. So I feel like this would be like almost like 100 Bullets style, because they're trying to like find the case. And so anyways, it was really, really, this was a really fun title. If you can't find an issue of this, let me know, because when I go back to the stores on Wednesday, I'll see if they have extra copies.
Yeah, of course my store didn't have it.
Of course.
Reasons.
But I've got like not a billion, but I've got like at least 10 good shops around here.
So is it better than Crimson Flower?
Yes. I really, really, really wanted to like Crimson Flower a lot. And I think that I was thrown off by the artwork. When I started to realize that the artwork gave me our Crumb vibes, I liked it more, but it didn't do it enough for me where I liked the story overall. This one was much better than Crimson Flower. Crimson Flower, yeah.
Good, because Crimson Flower, like Matt Kint's one of those like hit and miss writers for me, where like sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's really, really bad. At least bad for me, maybe not for others. I know like some people love Mind Management and stuff like that.
I tried reading Mind Management, but I couldn't. I don't know. Boink.
Oh, it's Melchior. He sent me Halloween playing cards for my birthday.
He told me. That was so sweet. We
had a talk about Southern Bastards and other stuff, and he just read Philadelphia 12.
Oh, hell yeah.
So a book I picked up that I was not expecting to like, the King in Black, Black Knight. I kind of enjoyed it. Like I was surprised.
Really? Yeah. I really wanted to like it, and I hated it so much.
So it's my thing with schlubby characters who are just like, I have a soft spot for like characters that are terrible characters, I guess. Because like, I don't know, like he's so bad at his job.
I really wanted to like this because I like Simon Spurrier a lot. And I couldn't get past there was a lot going on, because like the way that he speaks, and I don't know, I couldn't.
Southern Bastards has been on a 2-year hiatus. I think it's been on like hiatus almost as long as Saga. I'm getting the tree from outside the house tattooed on me in 2 weeks.
So are you going to go see Gambit? Because he has the gift that I got you.
Yeah, I asked him, I was like, what the fuck is going on? He's like, she didn't tell you? And he just started laughing. I'm like, all right, what the fuck?
Oh, he didn't tell you? I thought he told you.
No, not really, no.
Oh, I mean, you can probably guess. But
Yeah, he was very vague. So I'm getting the tree tattooed on my back. I'm sure it's gonna hurt like hell because for some reason my back tattoos have hurt more than anything else.
I feel like the one that I have on my side right here, like it's literally just a simple line, but out of like I'll go and get like anything like here before I get anything on my rib cage again. That one hurt.
Yeah, the back of my leg, when I got the Lopan tattoo, hurt like all hell, but like the Green Goblin one on my back, like really fucked me up. Oh my god! Like I started having a fever afterward.
Mm.
But it was also when I was like not healthy after everything going down, and Gambit was like, you know what? I shouldn't have tattooed you. You were in no shape. But he did it anyway. Yeah, so like the Black Knight book, the best thing I say was like mindless reading where you just like read it, it happens. You're like, okay, well, that was a lot going on. Like he's slaying dragons, he's talking about his cursed blade fucking endlessly, and I guess it talks to him, which I'd never heard before. Which feels like they ripped that off from Die a little bit, but
I did get a lot of like reminiscent of Die because it was that like once in future like king, type thing. Kieran Gillen writing, I guess, and it did give me a lot of vibes because there's moments where he's like talking to himself and then words on the screen. So I don't know. I got Kieran Gillen vibes. Speaking of King in Black tie-ins, my next book is King in Black Marauders,
I
which
didn't read it yet.
thoroughly enjoyed. This book was really fun. I really like seeing Katie being a pirate and fighting dragons. I think everyone should read it. I enjoyed this one pretty much as I enjoyed Gwenum versus Carnage.
Yeah, I gotta read that one. So like I didn't get all my books finished, but I was like pretty happy with what I did get read. Oh god, I just passed the book I want to talk about. Strange Academy.
I picked that one up. I didn't read it because I missed like 4, 5, and 6 along the way. I think we're on issue 7 now.
8.
Okay, so then I missed more, but
I just read the last 2 issues and I thoroughly enjoy it. It's just a fun book. Like it's a fun all ages book. And the fact that like Magic is a teacher at this academy with her horrible fucking temper is just great. Oh my god.
She's so sassy. I love it.
It's just a very fun. Hello, Remy. I'm enjoying it. If the trade is out for the first couple of issues, I'd recommend picking it up. Again, like there's not many all ages book in my opinion, and I feel like this is a good all ages book.
Yeah.
And Scotty Young keeps it very light, and Humberto Ramos's art is one that like all ages can enjoy. I did not read X Factor. That's on my TBR.
So I ended up picking up X Factor because and I haven't been reading it for whatever reason. I read issue 4 because that was part of 10 of Swords, but I was sold X Factor because apparently it's really fucking gay, and for whatever reason nobody told me, and I haven't been reading it. So
well, okay, when I say it's really gay, it's Dakin.
Okay, but so I did end up picking up the first trade, which is issue 1, 2, 3, and 5, because 4 was part of the 10 of Swords. So I picked up the trade, and then this week, issue 7 came out?
Yes.
And so then I also ended up picking up 6 and 7, so that's going to be one that I'm just going to like sit down and read all at once.
I, for some reason, got Hellions and read it. The Mr. Sinister's cape's still a thing. Like, he got it back, but he's like, well, he can't wash it, so it smells musty now. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on with this cape? Like, why is this a subject every episode? Like, I miss old Mr. Sinister, who was actually sinister and not, like, clown car sinister.
Yeah. Come get your villains, Marvel.
Like, I know John's gonna be like, hold up. Like, him and Rod, like, are Mr. Sinister apologists. I also read King in Black, Return of the Valkyries.
Oh, I read that one too. I feel like the first issue was very heavy on the Sentry, and I didn't love it. I did enjoy it, but I feel like I liked issue 2 a little bit better than issue 1.
Yeah, I also kind of like that now we have what's the actress's name who played
Tessa Thompson.
Tessa Thompson? Yes, we have the Tessa Thompson Valkyrie in this now.
Beautiful.
And I love that Phil Noto cover.
Same.
Yeah, this one was good. I always like seeing Moonstar.
Moonstar was...
People forget she's a Valkyrie.
I think that Danny Moonstar was the highlight of this book for me.
She had a real chunky part in this.
Mm-hmm.
Did you read the other History of the DC Universe issue 2? I didn't get to it yet.
I breezed through it, but I feel like I needed to go back and read the first issue before going and reading the second. So that's going to be something. It's heavy. It gets really, really personal with these characters.
Okay.
So I did need to go back and, because like I said, I kind of skimmed through it and I'm like, wait, what happened in the first issue? So make Tessa Thompson Valkyrie gay.
Isn't she?
I assumed she is.
Yeah, because they intimated that her and Jane Foster in Love and Thunder. I mean, it's Taika Waititi, so I doubt it's gonna become like a scissor fantasy because that just doesn't seem like his type.
But give me the scissor fantasy. Like I am here for that scissor fantasy.
I also read Inkblot.
That was last week, right? Or was that this week?
It's this week.
Oh, I missed that one this week then.
Fucking crazy emotional, and I was not expecting it. Everything tied together to an earlier issue. And I was
Which it hasn't done because like each issue has been like, and I think that's what confused me when I read the first issue, because I'm like, I don't understand what's going on with these characters. Why didn't we get something like with the previous characters? And then I'm like, oh, that's what's going on. So
I love that cat because it reminds me of mine of what a fucking nuisance it is.
Mm-hmm. Nuisance? Cats?
Never. I think that is it for me. Dreaming Waking Hours.
I didn't read that one this week either.
So I'll just leave it at this. I'm enjoying this arc more than I did the last arc.
Because I know that was like one of my favorites. So okay.
Well, for me, I think because it's a little less emotional, it's more about the witchy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then Puck shows up, and now we have Oberyn, the King of the Elves, shows up in this one. So it's a lot more like faster moving for me.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying this arc more. I did not get High Republic #2 because it was not at the shop.
So
your love-hate relationship with Star Wars.
I like the comics. I mean, so because you were gracious enough to send it to, it's up here, but you can't really see it. And I was going to surprise you, I guess, but since I have an extra copy of issue 1, I'm going to send it to you. And I did pick up an extra issue of issue 2, so I'm going to send that to you as well.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah. So
you and Dad are missing my birthday by like miles.
Oh, I know. And so here's the thing is that like there was something else that I have for you, but I didn't even get it until today. And there's whatever, I won't go into that. So there's like a shit ton of stuff that I have to send, but it just like so anyways.
Yeah, Nat's like, I've got this box. Happy birthday. I was like, it's Sunday. She goes, yeah, I'll get to it. I was like,
yeah. You'll get to it eventually. So it's like either like a late birthday or an early birthday for next year or something. I'm not going to like spoil it. Not that there's really too much to spoil, but I thought that this one was really fun. And we're seeing this, I think, where the main character, I can't even think of her name right now, but the main character is doing this like, do I go against the rules or not? So
I have not read the novels. I haven't kept up in quite a while, but follow Read Across the Stars feed if you're interested, because that is like 100% her thing. and she is now basically permanently with Cinia Reads for their book club. And to all the Bookstagram and Booktubers who have been mean to Cinia and
Follow
blocked her,
Cinia.
go fuck yourselves. One, like, let her have her thing and don't be gatekeepers.
Yeah. I don't understand that, because I feel like I get it from the comics community, because I feel like it is tight knit and I feel like there is a community, but I do think that sometimes it can be cliquish. I won't go into that a little bit now, like at least not on screen. We can DM and talk. But I do, yeah. So yeah, I see it within sometimes the comics books community, like comic book YouTube type stuff. But I don't know.
Yeah, Jay, it's a thing. Like, it just, I read the poor girl's Twitter rant and like,
dude,
Jesus Christ.
The other cat is rioting now.
Did you have anything else?
Yeah.
Besides wanting to put your cats in timeout.
They are going to go into timeout. I'm just kidding. I couldn't ever be mean to them. Issue 7 of Engine Ward. This has been just a solid title.
Read none of it.
Kind of fantasy, kind of sci-fi, in a really fun way. Like each issue is an adventure, so that's cool. I also read Tartarus number 9. I don't know if this one's wrapping up the arc. Maybe the next issue is going to wrap up the arc, but I preferred the first arc because Jack T. Cole was doing the artwork for it, but he's not doing it for this arc. But I still thoroughly enjoy it.
Who was the writer on that?
Johnny Christmas.
Okay, I remember it's like someone who had like a supervillain, like, gangster name.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I would have never picked this one up if the so I do a second show on Fridays, and if they weren't picking this one up, I probably wouldn't have actually picked this one up, but they're all reading Man Bat. So I ended up picking up Man Bat this week.
I picked it up. I didn't read it yet, though.
Maybe it's one of those things where I had low expectations or almost no expectations going in, so it was actually enjoyable. So,
well, that's good.
I did also end up picking up a couple other things, because later tonight I will be talking with I'll be doing the comic book review crew, and we're going to be talking to is it David Booher from Kanto. So I ended up picking up some of these. I don't know how I ended up picking this one up for $4, but it's apparently $100-something book. It's issue number 1, like cover E, and I have no clue how I picked that one up. So,
speaking of, like, have you heard anything back from Zach Thompson?
And I checked. I didn't know if like it was maybe we'll talk about it later, like not on camera. But yeah.
No, because like I added on Twitter and I'm like, hey, like my co-host sent you an email, and then like nothing back. I'm like, okay, like whatever.
But hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully he's not going to be like emailing us Saturday going, hey, Saturday 2:30, where are you guys?
Because I have to work tomorrow, so like I can't. So anyways,
I'll be asleep.
Yeah.
Like I have to work.
Well, we'll reschedule if we need to. So.
Yeah. Well, we tried. So.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
John is here. John, hey, I have something to tell you. Sorry. I mentioned it earlier. I need to know your thoughts because it was really good. And I'm like, John and his girls would really like this. So I talked about you earlier. Only mean things. I said very mean things about you. So you're going to have to go back and watch the whole episode about all the mean things that I said about you.
She's starving your children because they were waiting for her to go on to eat bagels.
Yeah, because like, you're like, you can't have bagels until Jennifer shows up in the chat. So anyways, John, if I read this and immediately thought of you and Kate and Charlie. So I hope you're reading this because it was really good. So that's pretty much it.
So John, we're getting ready to talk WandaVision. So have you watched yet? Because I know you were very picky about spoilers. So if you haven't, we will be very, very careful. The American garbage book. There was a very, very low bar for Deep Beyond, and it surpassed that bar.
For you, it did. Not for
It
me.
made sense. I didn't love it. I just said, like, reading wise, it made sense.
I want to say goodnight to Jay.
Good night, Jay. Sorry you're jumping out because I just got here and now I gotta leave. Yeah, I haven't watched. We'll dance around it, John. Like it's fine. Like, okay, so we're gonna start. So if anybody feels they need to jump out,
totally understandable. But pause it and then like come back once you've watched it and we'll talk about it because we're gonna talk spoilers about WandaVision. I don't know if you want to put like a scroll up that says, "Hey, heads up, we're talking about WandaVision." If you haven't watched it, there's spoilers. Would you mind if I took a 1 minute break to feed these cats before we start talking about WandaVision?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, give me 1 moment and I'll be back.
Okay. So we are going to talk WandaVision. Give it a minute so if anybody wants to jump out, they can jump out so that way they're not spoiled. So far, I've been really liking the series. The first 2 episodes really didn't reveal much except for the one little drone. The last 2-3 episodes have been great. We'll get into some of the more nuanced stuff. I did get excited, though, that we now have a date for Winter Soldier and Falcon, which is March 19th. And they already revealed who the cameo is going to be in that. It's going to be Rhodey, James Rhodes. So that should be interesting. The production value on this show has been great. It's kind of been surprising how good it's been. I don't know how many episodes in general there are. I should look that up because I don't know if this is going to clean up nicely or badly, which it could go either way at this point. I do know it's going to tie into Doctor Strange and Spider-Man 3. So 9 episodes. We got 4 more after this. So wait for Jen before going any further in this. So while she's doing that, go over some of next week's releases. Okay, never mind. Jen's back, so I won't get into that.
Okay, sorry.
So it's 9 episodes, so there's 4 more after this one.
This is episode 5, correct?
Yes. The preview image for episode 6 shows her in her old school Scarlet Witch outfit. Yes.
Awesome.
Okay, so this episode, the boys get a dog, Sparky, which that's a nice shout out to Tom King's.
Mm-hmm.
This was an 80s sitcom. They've jumped to the 80s now.
It was so, I don't want to say Full House, but because I never really watched that when I was younger, that coming out, but it gave me some Full House vibes.
Also, Paul Bettany gets to wear that hairpiece. It's now yuppie hair he's got.
Yeah.
We also get more Darcy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just glad to see her back. Huh?
I think that after last week's episode, the entire internet was give her and Wu their own their own
Yes.
show, like make it X-Files, Mulder and Scully, 100%.
I keep waiting for Monica Rambeau to power up.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if she has powers or not yet. Like, but I'm like, she's Photon. I know she's Photon, like, or
Yeah.
Spectrum or whatever. She's got a bunch of different names
Yeah.
besides being Captain Marvel at one point.
Mm-hmm. I think one thing that I was thinking during this, because okay, so there's going to be 8 episodes, and I know that not
9.
each one of them. I'm sorry,
No.
9. So I know that so then there's 3 more left, 6, 7, 8. So then if we go 90s, 2000s, and then a little bit like if we keep doing the decade thing, depending on what happens, I would love to see like a Black Mirror WandaVision episode.
That might be the last episode.
That I think to me, like, I don't know, that would be really interesting to see. You know, I don't get, you know, I don't make the rules. Marvel didn't consult me.
The kids being able to age themselves up. Like, you can't have a dog till you're older. Next thing you know, they're like 9.
Yeah, they're 10 years old. That was one thing. So that like kind of puts like a what's going on thing, because I can't remember the character's name, but I love the actress so much, because she's just
Agnes the neighbor.
Agnes the neighbor, and she's there, and you know she's going to babysit the babies. Well, then all of a sudden the babies become like 4 or 5 years old. They age all of a sudden, and they're like, did she see that? And then all of a sudden, like, oh, you kids can't have a dog, you're too young. And then they age up, and she's just like, haha. So you know she's in on it, but how much is she in on it?
Yeah, like, and then finding out like how reality's rewriting itself, because Monica's like shoots her dress and it's her actual bulletproof vest that got turned into it.
Exactly. And then we get to see like I don't want to call it a glitch in the Matrix, but then Vision's coworker is like Vision is able, like, yeah, to do the like the Vulcan like mind meld thing, and is like he like all of a sudden is like, where am I? Where's my phone? I need to contact my family. Like, what is going on? Like, I'm in pain being here. And so then I think that's where Vision is like, what is my wife doing?
And they almost get into a throwdown in the living room.
Mm-hmm. And it was kind of interesting seeing like the credits roll.
Yeah. And he's going, what is going on? And they're having like this heavy discussion, and then the doorbell rings. He's like, did you do that? She goes, I have nothing to do with that. He goes, did you do that? And she goes to answer the door.
And it's her brother. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! The person who was going to show up, it's her brother. But I called it.
There's a Shyamalan twist. He's been recast.
Got recast. That was so. I thought that was absolutely adorable that he gets recast.
And do we see her real daddy come in at some point?
So, will
it be Michael Fassbender?
Earlier in the episode, they had mentioned who her parents are. So I don't know if they are going to do that, because at some point,
interesting way to bring the mutants in.
It really would be. So, I don't know. I have a feeling that like the last episode, the week of the last episode, they may like announce some fun stuff, right? Like they may go ahead and announce, hey, we've got this new show coming out, and this is actually going to introduce mutants, or I don't know.
Would you rather have Michael Fassbender show up or Ian McKellen?
You know my answer to this. Like, I love Michael Fassbender in a filthy, filthy way. And not just because of my crush on Magneto, but I have a huge crush on Michael Fassbender. So,
well, I mean, would the younger one make sense or the older one?
Either. I'll take them both, man. Girl wants what girl wants.
Yeah, because I saw it was Evan Peters. I was like, holy shit, and he's wearing the kind of silvery jacket, and I was just like,
the hair.
If he had the goggles, I would be like, oh god, like,
yeah,
this is too much.
So my thing is like, is he has to be in on it at this point, because how else would he have gotten in?
Yeah. Oh, and Wanda shows off her powers a little bit, where she has a showdown with the FBI.
That moment.
It's
So,
intense.
man, I really hope that anyone who's watching is okay with spoilers, or that you're watching it, or that you've watched it. But basically, there's this moment where there is a moment where she, like, the shield kind of comes down, the shield or thing around the perimeter, and she walks out of it, and she's basically like, you all better stop fucking with me right now, like, fuck around and find out. And they fucked around and they found out. Like, we really see how powerful Wanda is, and I think we're only going to continue seeing how powerful she is.
They've said how big the perimeter of the hex is. Have they said? I was hoping the Xavier School could be affected.
That would be pretty interesting, because that's exactly like what happens is that, but there's a couple of mutants that make it out of that, so we'll see.
Oh, some news just dropped.
What?
The Watchmen TV series writer Stacey Osei Kuffour is writing Marvel's Blade reboot.
Ooh. Okay, I'm here. I'm here for it. As long as we maybe get another season of Watchmen, like, not that we need it, because that season was so good. Like, that was a perfect show. I will go back and read Kill a Man if you go back and try to watch Watchmen.
I think I stopped at episode 3 or 4. How many episodes are there in the season?
Oh, like 10 or 11, maybe?
Okay, that's almost doable. I just did The Mandalorian in one night. I already seen all the spoilers. They're half-hour episodes, though, so it was a little bit easier to get through.
Yeah, that's true. I couldn't, yeah, I hate to say I'm not a big fan of Star Wars, because I could be, but the writing is just not fun. So.
Like Pedro Pascal.
I do like Pedro. Maybe that'll be my motivator for going back. So,
except he only takes the helmet off twice in 2 seasons. But it's like Judge Dredd. You know, the real Judge Dredd, not the Stallone one. I am the law. Yeah, like, so there's people like trying to guess that like the head of the FBI is Mephisto.
Yeah, I think Mephisto is gonna appear, but I actually think it's Agnes.
So I actually think Agnes is Agatha Harkness.
Okay, that makes sense.
Just younged up. Unless they're gonna reveal at the end, she's gonna be like, I'm an old bitch and I'm a witch.
I could totally see that.
Just because when the kids are like, bring back Sparky, you can bring the dead back. She's like, no, I can't.
No, and we're like, but you can? And you did? Like, that's the whole premise of the fucking show.
Is Vision technically alive, though? Although he has the fucking Soul Stone, or the Mind Gem there, though, too. I'm like, hey, like, how do you have that?
Well, because they said that she stole his body. So I do think that he's alive.
I don't remember anything.
Of
course, honey. I just remember being married and us having kids.
I think he's still alive.
She's weirdly, like, manipulative and innocent at the same time, like the way they're playing her. And just the folksy sitcom stuff is just fascinating, the way they're doing it. The series, like, I'm usually not that guy lately where, like, something drops and I'm like, all right, I gotta go watch it. Like, I haven't done appointment TV since Game of Thrones.
That was literally, I think that there's like 2 or 3 shows. Like, I watch Saturday Night Live. I watch, like, WandaVision is my Friday show. John
Saturday Night
Oliver.
Live? Isn't Saturday Night Live after your bedtime?
It really is. It's normally, so it's technically actually like my Sunday, maybe evening show.
That was a weird headline everybody was making of last week's Saturday Night Live, too, with Pete Davidson. I was like, why is this a thing?
What was the headline?
With John Krasinski, where they're like, oh, they kissed. Ooh. I was like, okay.
Oh, yeah, that was... honestly, last week's episode of Saturday Night Live, because, you know, it's skits, so, like, some are hits, some are misses. I feel like the weekend update, like the news report, is usually my favorite part. The news update was actually my least favorite part, but every other skit I feel like was on point.
Weekend Update used to be like my favorite thing, like when Norm Macdonald and Dennis Miller was doing it before he became Republican puppet Dennis Miller.
Oh,
yeah, he kind of lost
I really enjoy Michael Che and Scarlett Johansson's husband,
I don't even know who that is.
Colin Jost, Scarlett Johansson's husband.
Oh, she's been married so many times, like in the last couple of years, like it's kind of hard to follow. She really has. She's 3 times. Yeah. Anyway, I kind of stopped following that stuff. Like,
oh, well, they made a thing about it on one of the last episodes. So,
like, I just remember like Olivia Wilde was married to one of the comedians from that show at one point, or she still is, but
that I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember. It came out when Tron, whatever year one came out.
That was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, they're still married.
15 years ago.
Has it been that long? Shit.
Since Tron? I think Tron came out in maybe 2007.
I was at that Comic-Con at San Diego for that. Okay, we're at the hour and a half mark. I think we've talked. All right, I looked at the screen. We've talked some WandaVision. Hopefully you followed and didn't get spoiled. That's even if you care about spoilers. So if you did get spoiled, we warned you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not sorry. No, still sorry. So you'll be on tonight with the writer of Canto on Hero and the Kid at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific.
Yep. Not past my bedtime, but literally like that show ends and I'm like, okay, folks, I need to be in bed or else I'm going to be a pumpkin.
And if you didn't watch our interview with Rodney Barnes and you have 2 hours tucked away, because that like didn't feel like 2 hours and then it was didn't. 2 hours.
Normally, like when I'm sitting here, like my neuropathy flares up and I'm like, okay, once it gets to like the hour and a half mark, I'm like, I need to lay down. But it did not feel like 2 hours. It was such a great conversation. And of course, D from FTO Nerd Talks, who's such a great guy.
Thank you, Josh.
Oh, 2010. Okay, thank you. Peanut Gallery. Maybe that was around the same time that Josh Middleton started becoming a good artist.
Wow. Yeah, I had a good time with the interview. Not so much some things afterward that I'm not pleased about still. But so you'll be doing that tonight, and then you have your show Sunday. And we'll be back next Friday, and we're probably gonna have to do it on a Wednesday since Gambit's off too for book club.
Ice Cream Man.
And announcing the next.
And then it's your pick, and you already have something picked out, and I'm curious what that is.
And I have guests already lined up too.
Dang. I'm excited though because I know the guests, so
I was weirdly early on it where I was like, you know what, it's time.
I'm curious what the book is going to be. Like, I don't know if it's like I'm like, okay, the 2 guests that are going to be on, what are books that they really like?
We're doing all Remender. It's Remender Appreciation Month every week. Yeah, dude. Like, I've gone back and looked at NYX. Nah, dog.
No. Maybe it was good back then. Like, it was definitely like peak 2000s artwork, in my opinion. But
no, it was like, I guess cute, sort of. Like, I really hated that first appearance of X-23 cover. It's not a good cover.
I think it's a great cover, and the only reason why is because I have it in my collection, and it's worth a lot of money, even though like the technical owner of it's looking at me like, bitch, I bought it. It's like one of like 5 comic books that he owns. It's NYX number 3, Spider-Gwen's first appearance and fucking Miles Morales are technically all three his, and those are the most expensive ones in the collection, and they're his. So
by the way, like I lost my mind. I had a 9.8 CGC of Edge of Spider-Verse 2 first print. When I lost my job at B&N, I sold it because I was afraid like I might need war funds, so I got like 300 for it. It just cracked 1K this past week, and I probably wouldn't have sold it.
It's funny because like there's I just looked today and I'm like, what's like the next, like if I had like the dumb bitch money, and I'm not talking about the dumb bitch money, I'm talking about the fuck off type money. And when I think about like how much money is fuck off money, it's like I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna buy a Corvette because that's my dream car. Like if I just had enough money to like drop on a Corvette, would I actually buy it? No. But the book that I would buy would 100% be House of Secrets 92 would be like the dumb bitch buy.
So I have a theory that if you do grade that Darth Vader 3 and it comes back as a 9.8, give it about 2 years, if that Dr. Aphra show comes out, it'll be $1,100 book.
100. I honestly, there's so many books in my collection that I do need to send. The shop that I used to work at, because it's in Florida, and the owner literally drives to Sarasota. Like he's like, I'm gonna.
They don't let you do that anymore.
I think that they still let him do it.
Okay, because I know like they shut like down anybody driving up trying to do same day.
Oh no, he doesn't do like same day. He just, because I used to live an hour away from Sarasota, so it'd be like we're just gonna drive there for the day.
You mean the hotbed of COVID in Florida?
Pretty much, yeah.
That article I sent you in Naples.
That was literally Naples. Like the owner of that grocery store is like a huge like QAnon person, and yeah, so not surprising at all. So anyways, I have like probably 20 books that I'm like, I would send these books to him, have him if obviously like pay, but like be like, hey, would you be able to like press and like steam these and do a really good job and then take them on your next trip? But I know that would end up still taking like a year to get done. So it's just a matter of time. Because I have Saga #1. I'd probably do that NYX, even though it would be probably like a 9.4, 9.6.
That's
still like, and then of course Gwen Stacy.
A grade is better than no grade.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you guys for joining us. Appreciate all of you who tuned in or watch afterward. Also, thank you to Film Noir Girl for your constant kind words. Very much appreciate it. So take care, and we will see you. Jen will see you later on her show or on Sunday, and I will see you next week unless I do like random streams. You never know. Yeah. So take care, everybody.